This is a journey into sound.
Sorry.
A journey which along
Some
the way
songs
will
just bring back
you
memories.
New color, new dimension, new value.
Just now I'm flooded with memories of Pump Up the Volume, dimly lit clubs, whiny. Shelley Winter Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on cloud 9. And as the old saying goes, if you know, you know. So I want to talk about Donald Trump, President Trump. President Trump was at a Ford plant in Dearborn, Michigan. So he's at the plant, touring the plant, talking about manufacturing and jobs and everything, doing, what a president does, touting his achievements, right? Touting what's going on in the country, trying to get people to recognize that it's not as bad as you may think it is, right? I mean, everybody does it. It's interesting that, the sides are, when Biden was doing it, the media allowed him to do it and said nothing, and the right said they're lying, and people don't feel that way. People don't feel it. People are feeling it or not feeling it, however you want to spin it. And then now President Trump is doing it and giving out the numbers and showing the numbers and the higher just lower in unemployment, and everyone picks and chooses the numbers that make themselves look good. And I get it. It's politics, right? But the ultimate decision maker on whether the economy is good or bad or even or fair or whatever term you want to use is people. People, when they sit around their kitchen table, do they feel like the economy is? Perception is reality, especially when it comes to the economy, especially when it comes to the lower class, the working class, the lower middle class, those people that grind out an 8-9 hour day every single day. How do they feel about it? And you can't spin that any which way. You can't tell those people they feel better when they don't, or they do feel better, but they shouldn't, right? You can't spin that out of it. So the president was at Ford Motor Plant in Dearborn, Michigan. And a guy yells out a couple times, pedophile protector. Now, understand this. I don't know the guy. I haven't heard any names. I do know he's been suspended by Ford. UAW is fighting for him. I'm not sure I'm in agreement with him being suspended, but we'll get to that in a couple seconds. I understand it, but we'll get to it in a couple seconds. But in a Ford Motor Plant in Michigan, that guy, I'd bet $1 or $2 that he voted for Trump. I would bet $1 or $2. All right, that's all I have to lose. I'd bet $1 or $2 that he voted for Trump. If not 16, 20, and or 2024. That guy working at a Ford Motor Plant in Michigan voted for Donald Trump, especially in 2024. And so he yells out a couple times, pedophile protector. What are you protecting? Pedophile protector. And Donald Trump mouths at him. You can't hear it necessarily, but he mouths the F-bomb, you. And then he gives him the middle finger. And I thought, whoa, I get it. But whoa, you're doing that, one, to possibly a voter? Because you're the Michigan Ford Auto Plant. More than likely, that guy voted for you. And the reason why he's calling you a pedophile protector is because one of the things he voted for was the release of the Epstein files. We know that's a MAGA thing. That's not a Democrat thing. Now, it could be now because they've made it one, but we know that wasn't always. The Democrats did not care about Epstein until it seemingly could hurt Trump, right? So it's 9 times out of 10, very strong. You could be certain to a certain degree of confidence. You can be certain that this guy voted for you, and you F-bombed him and gave him the middle finger. And people are ignoring it. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not right. You shouldn't be able to. You shouldn't do that as the president. Forget that. Forget the president. You shouldn't do that just as a regular person. I remember when John McCain was running, he had a rally. And an old woman stood up and started to question Barack Obama being an American citizen or being good for America because he was Muslim. And John McCain stopped her in the tracks. Now, some people say he might have lost the election here. I don't agree with that. It could have been something, but I don't agree with it. But he stopped her in the tracks. No, ma'am, no. Barack Obama's a good man. I work with him in the Senate. That's what John McCain said. And I remember during that time, I said, man, that's the stand-up dude. I remember when Barack Obama was being heckled, when he was president. And everybody was booing, and they wanted to throw the people out. And it's like, no, let him stay. And then he started to address those issues that they were booing him about. I remember this. I remember just recently in 2020 when Joe Biden cursed out a worker who told him on a Fiat Chrysler plant, where he cursed that guy out, called him a horse's A, cursed him out, told him he didn't know what he was talking about, got all up in his face. And I remember we on the right went after Joe Biden. You can't handle the pressure. And now we're silent on an F-bomb from the president and a middle finger to a guy that says you're a pedophile protector. I'm not here to necessarily castigate the president for doing it. I'm here again to point out the hypocrisy. We on the right stand on principles and policies that we know are better than the left's. But we lose all credibility when we're hypocrites. We lose credibility to people that we're trying to get to vote for us because they understand the policies work. They understand Republican policies are better. They understand Republican policies are better for families and small businesses and entrepreneurs and cities and counties and states. We know that. But we lose all credibility when we let something like that fly. We should be able to say, whoa, Mr. President, that was out of line. Don't do that, sir. We should be able to do that. Because if we can't, then we have nothing. And when the next guy does something worse or gets in the face of a candidate, we can't say anything. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. It's a Shelley Winters show. And no, I don't think Ford should have suspended him, but I do understand making your company look bad while on company property. We'll be right back.